Hello and welcome. This is Brandon Waddell, Chartered Market Technician, and I'm going to do a little analysis on the Nifty and Bank Nifty indexes. As you can see, starting off with the weekly here, the Nifty, we are pretty much stuck sideways channeling and we're losing momentum as well. We have not gone into bearish territory for the most part, so just kind of hanging out sideways, just back and forth and back and forth. So we need some sort of catalyst to launch us out of this. Prices had pulled back a little bit, but as you can see on the weekly chart, fell right into an area of demand and didn't really go anywhere. If we zoom in, the nice thing for the bulls is that we did make a slightly higher low than we did before, so we need to make a higher high to continue the bullish trend. Unfortunately, that has not happened yet. That would require a breakout of 18,350.95 in order to continue the upward trend here on the weekly chart. So that being said, if we drop down to our smaller time frame, we have seen an impulse up with a correction back down, and we retraced basically 100% of the previous move, as you can see. So not sure if that is done or what's going on here. We can go down a smaller time frame, but before we do, looking at this weekly chart, you can see that the very last candle from last week, this is showing a topping tail, which is a bearish sign. So we couldn't get back up into bullish territory that's above 60 on the RSI. We're still seeing a little bit of underlying weakness. It'll be interesting to see if we can continue to move to the top of the range or if we end up getting stuck here. Dropping down to the daily time frame, we can see that we've got weakness. As we try to make these fresh lows, we did get a little bit of positive divergence where prices pushed up because the momentum had stopped moving down. But when we rallied, we failed to get above 60, and that's actually a bearish sign when we put in this high. That's suggesting that we may be able to continue to go lower and actually take out the prior low. And I say that, basically seeing something like this, because we rallied up here and on this rally, we failed to push the RSI above 60 right here. That means the subsequent move down that we're in right now is more than likely to take out the prior lows and just break down. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. As a matter of fact, what we can also do is say, all right, well, we've got an impulse down and we corrected up. And look at that, we went 61.8% on the correction. So it does appear to be done with the, whoops, wrong button. I'm going to go ahead and just, there we go. Nope, I wanted to remove this. I'll try this again. Actually, let's start fresh. And put in that Fibonacci retracement once again, just so I have it there. But basically what I wanted to see was if we impulse down, where are we likely to go? So if we take a look at our most recent impulse, the correction back, we use Fibonacci extensions, we should retest the prior low and then extend down to 16,280. So we are seeing bearishness right now that is possibly coming back in, and it may take us to some fresh lows. We actually don't have any kind of demand back here on the daily chart. Really, there's nothing to hold us up until we get all the way down to these fresh lows at 15,800. Oops, hang on. There we go. There's the zone. You got drop, base, 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 and then they rally to the upside here. Let me just verify this. 885 for the close, the high here. 81, yeah, so it is. That would be our next target. And it's basically, there's a Fibonacci level right above that. As you can see, there also, as I go into style here, we can add in some of the other Fibonacci levels that we typically get, 1.272. You can see that's right above that zone. And actually, if we get 1.382, which you don't have, I can put in, there we go, that's right inside the zone. So there are Fibonacci extensions that target pretty much right at that demand zone. 15,800 is what I'm looking like we're going to get down to. So if we drop down to smaller time frame, we'll go down to the 4-hour, maybe fine tune this, see if there's anything going on inside of this area that we might be able to use as a trade opportunity. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. We just had, again, kind of that retracement back to the fib retracement of 61.8% of the previous impulse, and we're just impulsing down. So got to be patient, wait to see if any new zones form as we impulse down to be able to look for shorts. If I drop down the 60-minute time frame, unfortunately, we're not very weak and we're not very strong. We don't really have momentum in either direction. As prices were moving down, you would have expected us to go into bearish territory below 40. We didn't get that. We're really just moving sideways right now, just back and forth choppiness. So be patient, wait to see if we can break out of this sideways range that we've been in, at least for the past week. As you can see, the last several candles were just going sideways and choppy. So don't throw your money away, save it, make sure you pick your battles and look for the right opportunities. Again, going down on a smaller time frame, I don't really have any great demand zones along the way at all. So let's go ahead and jump back up to the weekly time frame and go out to the Bank Nifty. And we'll look at index here. There it is, Nifty Bank. And start off clean with a weekly chart. So here we had a deeper retracement of our move down, but we did not get into bullish territory as we retraced. So it doesn't look like we're going to continue to move up much more. As you can see, we impulsed down here from the highs. And as we retrace back up, we stalled out initially at 61.8%, and now we went up to 78.6%. And that also happens to correlate right here with a drop-based drop supply. Oh, there's actually two. Yeah, that's this zone. So when you look at it, you've got drop, base, base, drop right there. So we came into that, moved a little higher into the zone, and we hit the 78.6, but cannot seem to get above 60. That's actually a little bearish. The fact that we can't get into bullish territory going above 60 on the RSI means that prices are likely to continue to move down rather than moving up. So if we're done with our retracement here, let's see where we're likely to go. We have our impulse, correction, and continuation should get us back down to these prior lows at 34,597, basically 34,600, and then down to 31,613. Which, again, I don't really see any great zones. This is your first strong demand zone all the way down on the daily chart at about 24,809. I don't see us dropping straight down there, though. Again, we've had our impulse correction. We're impulsing again, so look for stalling at maybe 34,597, 31,613 first. We go down to the daily time frame, just kind of fine-tune this. I don't really have anything here. We do have a demand zone just before that 61.8%. We have drop, base, rally, nothing else along the way. So if we start dropping for where we are here, rolling over, which we're starting to, we may not be able to make fresh lows right away. We're going to have some sort of a pullback. The reason why is we're starting our move down from above 60. So typically that means we should get a bounce before 37,500. We get some sort of a pullback before we're able to continue down. So if we drop down to the 4-hour chart, let's see if there's anything going on here as far as demand. Not really. Overall, this is suggesting bearishness in the markets. And again, we had a little bit of a bullish push. I don't see how if we pull back right now where we're likely to return back upwards. Oops, sorry, that's the 4-hour. I wanted to go back down to, or up to the daily here. Because again, if we are just retracing down, I don't have a great impulse there either. Basically, we impulse up, we're correcting back. Just trying to suggest if this is just a small pullback, you can see we stalled out at 23.6. So we may be able to continue higher just because, again, we're somewhat bullish here on the Bank Nifty. It's kind of opposite of what we saw in the Nifty. This is showing a little bit more strength. There's nothing really to hold us down. This would be your target if we do move up. Make sure I got that right. Yep, there it is. So if we pull back, I'll verify this with an extension as well. But if we start correcting, either we're going to stall out here at 23.6 and continue our impulse back up. And if we do, let's see, we had impulse, correction. Yeah, we stalled out pretty much right on time. And then now we have impulse, correction, projection. One of them gets us a 44.23. The next one is 41.573. If this is where we're done correcting to. Now we might go a little bit further. And what I could do is drop down from this 1 day time frame to the 240 and see if there's any demand zones we find. There's nothing really here. So that doesn't help. We can drop down to a 60-minute and see if there's any sort of zone along the way. And again, there's nothing. So I don't really have anything. You know, we had demand right here, but this has already been tested twice. So I don't see anything as far as opportunity to go long. if, again, it's big if, we're going to continue to go higher, we have already retraced to the 23.6. So if you were to buy at one of these levels, you can place your stop at the level below it, targeting just below 40,874 is what I'm saying. Now, we don't know which of these levels is actually going to hold yet. So that's why there's a little bit of risk, but we did see bullishness. And as we pull back, we're not seeing too much bearishness. So if we're done and we rally from here, again, that would be your target. Expect something like that. However, if we're not done, we may continue to correct back down and then bounce up from our next Fibonacci retracement. So if I had zones here, that would be a lot easier to be able to just go long at the zone. I don't, so you're kind of taking a little bit of a gamble by trying to go long at one of the Fibonacci levels with your stop below the next fib level, but it does give you a decent reward risk ratio. You just want to be very careful, don't beat yourself up there. So if you got any questions, let me know. That's all I've got right now for the Nifty and Bank Nifty. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you click on the subscribe and like and let me know. Until next time, trade safe, trade well, and take care.